So after trying the skeleton key on the hill, the 154, which was a little bit smaller for me, I think the 158 would be a better fit. Where, you know, with the Burton branch manager, which this board just unseated mid-season, I rarely ever do that, but you know, I just had a little bit better time on this, and this was clearly the better board, the board I wanted, and you know, it just gave me, you know, I went from, it was a good day out there, it was a pretty good powder day, it wasn't amazing, but I went from pow chub to fully power wrecked when I got on this board compared to the other boards I was testing that day. And it's just super fast in and out of the trees. You can see it's got a decent sized taper, but it's got that cool kind of side cut tech, not side cut tech, that, you know, makes this board feel a little bit more like it's a double ender and not so much like the tapered surfy directional boards of old. So that's really cool, but it's slashy and surfy and quick. And yeah, I probably should have been on the 158, but man, this 154 was doing really well in about 2 feet of powder, and you know, just felt great. It kept its speed. It was just moving through the trees, and it's amazing. But this review, so I liked it. This review is just on the table to see it nice and pretty. I like this board so much, I just straight up bought it with our hard-earned good ride money, and well, there's not that much of that either. And I took what was left of our little budget and said, fuck it, I won't go on this road trip. I'm just gonna buy this instead. Mammoth is just going off this year, and I'm sure I'll find time to use it. And this is gonna be my board for like stormy tree days, where, you know, I'm looking for the densest trees, trying to find the best lines, like Peter says, getting tree barreled. And you can see, you know, I'd love to get a 158, but I couldn't find one anywhere, so I just bought the 154. You can see there's a lot of camber going on here. You know, I can get under there pretty good, and there's a good bounce. There's a lot of pop off the tail. There's a massive setback on board. It's like 50 millimeters on side cut, which is really far. And if you look at the reference stance, you know, I think you can find all this on Burton's site, but it looks like it's about 20 3/4. But if you took that 20 3/4, let's see, if you went all the way back, your stance would be about 21 3/4. So, you know, that's okay, but I'd be more into, you know, 22 3/4, or at least 22 1/2. But so at my reference stance, 22 1/2, you can get way back. I mean, you know, at my 22 3/4, we're looking at 23 to here, okay? And we're not going to count this little part here, but, you know, just to give you an idea, because that's going to sink pretty well, and it did when I was out in the powder. You're looking at 13 right here. So you're looking at 10 inches, man. That is so much. And you can see there's just a little bit of early rise rocker, and the nose is a little shovelly, like a little kinked up. I'd love to see it down a little lower, but you can see it's cut really well to displace powder, and that little extra rocker along with that massive setback really helps, and it floats a lot better than you would think. Handmade at Craig's, Burlington, Vermont? I don't know, that doesn't sound right. I thought they made this in Austria, but hey, yeah. Burlington, Vermont, okay. Well, you know, I love the flex of this board. It can butter off the tail real easy. It just snaps back and forth, edge to edge so well. It's just truly a pleasure. So I really like it. I'm really stoked on this board, and yeah, I wish I had a 158. If any of you guys out there who have a 158 feel it's a little too big for you, and you want a 154, let's talk. But that is the Burton family tree skeleton key, and it is just a really special board. You know, probably it's definitely a tree surfer. That's its strong point. And if you went a little bigger into the 158, you might even get you know, a nice open face, deep floating, super powerful board. I didn't get to take this out in the deepest of deepest days I've had in a long time. There's like some waist deep moments. So I can't say how it performs in like the deepest of deepest powder, but it seems like it's going to be just fine, especially if I have the right size. I mean, just based on how the Branch Manager 155 rode, and you know, the deep days I've been on the Flight Attendant and the Burton Landlord with all, you know, with the same kind of directional super setback camber. Yeah, I think it's going to be just fine.